Okay, I'm going to look at David Harvey's classification of different types of theories. He talks about status quo theory, counter-revolutionary theory, revolutionary theory, and so on. My aim or my purpose here is not to understand David Harvey's thinking as such, but to use his classification material, which is a useful classification to understand the concepts he is talking about and see where do we stand vis-a-vis the concepts he is developing. Okay, so the first thing he's saying, so his classification is in the context of the discipline of geography, which is his main discipline. And more generally, his classification is in the context of modern university disciplines. And but as a Marxist, I think he has his own more practical agenda as well. So let's see. So the first thing he says is each discipline, or what people call science, locates problems and solutions. So problems there are, so disciplines are organized around problems and solutions. Okay. So disciplines, that is, by discipline we here mean different fields of study, or sciences, whether they are natural sciences or social sciences. According to Harvey, David Harvey, disciplines are organized around problems. So disciplines deals with problems. So they are there to solve certain problems. Obviously, there's a particular way of looking at disciplines, but I think it's a good way to look at them. If not the way, at least one of the ways to look at the problems or the organization of different disciplines usefully is to see them as different field of knowledges or different fields of study which are geared towards solving certain problems. Not just solving, so in order to solve a problem, you need to identify a problem as well. So identification of problem is the first thing. And then specify, once you identify a problem, then you specify a problem, that is, you recognize it as a problem. Or in a more Foucauldian term, we can say that you problematize different objects of your under your purview, objects, or can be subjects as well. Different objects and subjects, different phenomena, I guess, in general. So phenomena don't need to be problems, but when you problematize them, they become problems. Problems in the sense that you have certain questions about this phenomena and you want to solve them. So that makes turn those phenomena into problems. And subjects, disciplines, I guess, study problems in order to solve them, solution. Let's see. So you have disciplines. So in a sense, they, create problems or identify problems. Yeah, because if, according to this view, if there are no problems, there are no disciplines. And then you seek solution for problems. And these solutions can be, temporary, can be final. But even if they are final solution might generate new problems as well regarding different phenomena. Generate new problems. Yeah. So disciplines, the life of discipline consists in problems, identification of problems, solution of problems, and then those problems, solution themselves generating new problems, or those solutions themselves over time may become problems and may require different solutions. And generally, disciplines in order to, let's focus on, what Harvey is saying here. Go back to what he's saying. Okay, so each discipline locates problems and solutions through a study of real condition mediated through a theoretical framework consisting of categorization, proposition, suggested relationships, and general conclusions. Okay, so let's go back to our discussion. So each discipline consists of according to our understanding, first you have not just problematization. So there are problematization. I mean, some problems might arise naturally, so to speak, in inverted comma, through mere interaction between the conditions around us and human beings, for example. But other problems, we might have to actually create them in a sense, or identify them. Or make them into problems. That's the same thing as. So the disciplines consist of problems, and then you have solution. And disciplines generally, at least in our modern university, in order to identify in order to identify problems or create problems or generate problems, and in order to generate solutions, firstly they do creation of problem and identification of or generation of solution through studying the world around us. That world around us, the things, what Harvey is saying, what Harvey is, David Harvey is calling study of real conditions. Now, this world around us consists of objects and subjects and relationships, and also, in fact, this real world is the world which is out there, but also the world which we are creating through our interactions, through our relationship, but also through these disciplines are also creating certain sort of worlds through these problems and solutions. So it's not just real conditions, and it is real condition as well as the conditions we are, or the world which we are actually constructing, in part through these disciplines as well, as we will see. So these disciplines, they identify problems, they create problems, they specify problems, and then they seek solution through studying the world around us, that is, studying the real conditions. And they do this through a framework of theory or theoretical framework as. And since Harvey here doesn't define what he means by theory, we'll just try to come up with a working definition of theory, and then we'll go from there. So through a study of real conditions mediated through a theoretical framework. Okay, so let's take a definition of theory from, I think this is Oxford Dictionary. So it defines theory as a supposition or a system of ideas. System of ideas intended to explain something. So supposition or system of ideas. Supposition or system of ideas, and the purpose is to explain something. Or in our parlance, to solve something, because explain something based on general principle. So explanation is not just of a particular problem, but that explanation is couched in general principle, so that anywhere, so if we find it will apply to these sort of problems anywhere or in other contexts as well. So based on general principle, independent of the things to be explained, independence of the things to be explained. So it should be objective. Explanation can't be based on the problem itself. or in terms of the problem or the phenomena which we are trying to explain. So a theory is a supposition or system of ideas to explain something based on general principle, and it should be independent of. So a theory is want to spend some time on it, because then Harvey is going to develop a typology of theories which we are interested in. So theory is a system of ideas or suppositions. So interconnected ideas, I guess, to explain something. Their purpose is explanation or found solution. And number 3, based on general principles. So they are not just solution to that specific problem, but any problem which resembles the problem we are studying. So generality is important. Number 4, and that's why those disciplines can be applied in different contexts. They are not, and they might be context specific, but they are not reduced to the context of the explanations. General, and they're independent of. So that's what gives them independent of the problem which they are trying to explain. So explanation is independent of explaining them or the problem at hand, because if the theory is actually borrowing from or presupposing certain things about the problem, I mean certain proposition within the problem, then obviously it's not independent of that problem, and the solution is not going to be objective. Okay, so just to go back, we need, so a discipline consists of problems. So if there are no problems, there are no disciplines, and you are seeking solutions. And the first step is to come up with a theory. And I guess the theory would also the theory might include or might need a method as well, method to approach the problem. So, and that method would have some sort of generality as well. But the method might actually be within the definition of theory we just considered. And these can be broken down into concepts or categories, which concepts and categories are used to arrange and organize the problem we are studying, or the reality which we are, or the reality we are trying to explain. Okay, number 2, theory and method might come up with propositions, certain proposition which describe the problem at hand, and then certain other propositions which explain them, and number 3, you have suggested relationships between different phenomena which are part of the problem as well as part of the theory, and then from there you come up with the solution or conclusion. So basically you have a discipline, you have a problem, you want to arrive at a solution, and you are looking for a solution which is a general solution, so you come up with a theory which includes theory is a system of ideas, and you develop this system of ideas through, in part through, using certain concepts, methods, and propositions, and those propositions initially are description of the reality, and then you come up with solutions or the proposition which might build up the solution. So system of ideas, you have method, and with this system of ideas and method you try to come up with general principles which can explain the problem without using or without presupposing anything within the problem. So that seems to be the definition of what discipline consists in. And this provides a background for categorization of different types of theories, which we are going to look in the next session. Thank you.